Agnes Musau is a young lady who started at the bottom and found her way out of the chains that held her captive and not only healed herself but those around her as well.
My name is Agnes Musau, and before I started Drug Fighters, I was in Kibera selling vegetables. I came to Kibera when I was at the age of 17 to take care of myself. At that age, I had a baby, and it is one of the challenges. It's one of the things that made me start working with the girls.
At first glance, one would never know that at a tender age of 9, she started out as a house help, and now she has grown and taken her past experiences as a lesson learned to build herself and lead an organization that is centered and helping children who are in need in Kibra region.
I was working as a house help at the age of 9 years. I wished to go to school. I wished a well-wisher will come forward and help me to get education, but I never got that chance. So I was with that bitterness. I'm eating and I'm eating with my son and someone's child is not eating and they are going through this. So it could bother me.
But why children in Kibra? What is it about them that made her see the need to help them and not go for any other type of organization?
So while I was selling vegetables to try to put myself together, I could have seen many children suffering, especially girls. And because I had that heart from the word go, about what I can do to fight. I had what we call the bitterness with people who take drugs and alcohol as a result of not taking their children to school. That was in my mind by that time, at that young age, because of what I went through. So I could have seen many children picking leftovers from those drainage of Kibera, which is a human waste that is passing through. I could have seen children picking the rotten fruits that I select when I come from market, and I throw them on those drainage, and because they are rotten, they have those doo-doos. So I could see children picking them. I could have heard people saying that so-and-so's child was being abused and nothing was done. But I never thought that I can do something like this. It was like just how I can help a child to get away of that one person thing.
She goes about her daily business with her team, probably pondering over ideas of what is next for the organization, as well as ensuring that everything is in order and up to satisfaction. For running the institution takes a lot of hard work, which she puts her whole being in.
But we have monetary, universal land development,
which is combined of all monetary work.
And so one day I went and asked this woman if there is anything that we can do to help children. And he laughed a lot, and he told me, we are, down here, people think that the chiefs are the everything according to their mind, that chief ndio watu wakubwa kabisa. So I asked her, Mama Shiro, if there is something that has been bothering me. Can we do something instead of buying food for ourselves, buy food for these children and start knowing why they are doing what they are doing? But she laughed and told me it is impossible. We are not chiefs, neither are we DOs. And I told her, I think it's not only those people who can do something. We can do something. And then she told me she will see. I went back again and she told me, I'll share this information with other women, but I'm not sure if they are going to agree. But what we are going to do, because I know you are close with children, you mobilize the children, I will mobilize the women. So she went and shared the story with the women. And I started talking to the children who are passing by my kiosk. Tell them we are going to have a meeting on Saturday. can you come? And I remember some of the boys who are having those, who might know direct they are using drugs and they are traffickers, they told me, Mali, unataka kutuset. I mean, you want to give us, to hand us over to the police. And I told them no, because I know your basis. If I want you to hand you over to the police, I can call police for you. So when Mama Shiro went, she talked with a group of 26 women, among them one of our members of the merry-go-round of food. And when we met, we said, we are going to buy juices on Saturday and start feeding these children. Yes, they responded so quickly because they thought it's something when we go and do it once and go to someone like a chief or whatever, we will go get money to share.
She talked to us about the journey she went through to get to where she is.
My parents separated when I was at the age of 8. My father was working, but he was an alcoholic. So as a firstborn of the girls, I'm the fourthborn in our family, but I'm the first in the girls. I followed my mom. My mom came for us after. But life never been easy for me. After following my mom, she was expected. She went to Naivasha and start doing casual work. And at the age of 9, she had to give me out to someone for me to work. I never felt bitter that I was to work. But what the bitter I have, and I always had, is because of how people treated me. As a child, I expected people to understand that I'm a child. But people took me as a maid. So they never see me as a child. As much as I pleaded them that I would love to go back to school, nobody has ever taken that opportunity to listen to me. I worked in one of the home of one of the most important person in this Kenya, especially in the religious area. I worked to his son's house, and every holiday we could have go home to that old man's house. And I kept telling them, can you help me to go back to school? That person had a power of just writing to me a note to take in one of the children's home in Kenya and get education for free. But as I said, they just saw me as a maid, as a poor child who can't do anything. So it made me become bitter. And as time that they were leaving Naivasha town, they added me over to someone else. And that's where I went through a lot of discrimination that I never see in this world. I think that it was the worst time in my life. Because that day I entered that house, the owner of that house took my spoon, all my utensils at one each, and told me, this is yours, and when you clean them, don't mix them with ours, don't do ABCD, never sit together with my children. Always when you finish your work, you go to the kitchen or you go to your room or you sleep. And that person was to count things like bananas and eggs. And I was not, I don't know how she was thinking about me. So I worked there for like 3 weeks, and I ran away at night, one night. And I reached home crying. And my mom asked me why I was crying, and I didn't talk to her. And the following day, those people came for me. And my mom didn't insist to want to know why I ran away and why I am crying and I'm not answering. So she just gave me back again to those people. And that thing is what makes me bitter always and fight for the girl child.
From a simple merry-go-round to a start of something new, what came about from the 26 women who were right by her side from the onset.
in 1998, I liked putting women together. And from my youngest, my friends are always elder than me. I never had a friend who is my age mate because of that language of African people. When you get a baby, even if you are 13 years, people started calling you a woman. And I had a group of women, of which it had a treasurer. And the treasurer was an older woman than like my mother. He was called Ruth Wairimo or Mama Shiro. So when we started with this merry-go-round, it was for ourselves to buy food, because we couldn't go to the supermarket and buy everything that you want. But if we could have contributed money and buy a full sack of rice, and come with those tins of kasukus and divide by ourselves, at the end of the day, we could have enough food in our house. But also it was not satisfying me, seeing that these children are still picking leftover. When I go to sleep, I was always bothered.
So if money wasn't her motivation to fully immerse herself into the work, what reason would be behind the whole idea?
When we started direct now to contribute, we made sure that we put inside this woman to contribute to be part of the women who are selling changa, which is the illicit blue, because their children are the ones who are involved. But you know, they came there because they thought they are going to benefit with something else. So when they left, we never stopped pursuing their children, because our aim was to catch the children in the way of they are not going to fight us. Because if you go for the children and their mothers are not involved, they are going to fight you. So we involved the mothers for us to get the children. We are not for you. We are not for an adult who can fight for herself. We are for that child. So it doesn't matter what you do to harm me. If I'm fighting for that child, I will fight for that child.
As Martin Luther King Jr. said, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. A day in her life shows us the love and the care that she gives to the many children she now sees as her own.
Jina langu naitwa Peter Kerema. Huwa nafanya hapa Dragsfighter kama volunteer. Huwa nasaidia mamangu hapa. Kwa ajili saa ile tulikuwa tukianza, tulipitia shida mingi, na hata tulikuwa tuna watoto wanalala njaa hapa. Walikuwa hawana madarasa. Sasa tunashukuru Mungu wako na madarasa. Na katika hiyo kazi yote ni Mungu juu tumetoka mbali, na Mungu ametusaidia kufika pale tumefika. Kwa hivyo kama mimi saa ile niko free time, huwa nakuja Saturday na kuja kumsaidia kusomesha watoto. Nakuja tunasaidiana kuosha hizo mitaro ziko hapa nje ya Kibera. Tunafanya kama kazi moja kama na mayouth pia wenye wako hapa katika Dragsfighter. Na tunashukuru Mungu juu tunaendelea vizuri.
It's my time to take my hoe and axe and head south to the big farm, restoring hope, bridge of hope.
Bridge of hope, creating future for generation. Bridge of hope, building up the society. Bridge of hope, we are the light that in Kibera. Bridge of hope. They call Kibera a slum. We call it our paradise. They say there's no electricity. Bridge of hope, making society. Bridge of hope. For every child, education. Bridge of hope is the best to be. For every child, security. Bridge of hope is the home to be. Bridge of hope. Bridge of hope, creating future for generation.
as children in the nation. Restoring children in spiritual habitation. Making God our habitation. Bridge of hope is the bridge for this generation. To every child in Kibera, for every child's education. Hear the sound, hear the voice, it's the voice of hope. Bridge of hope. And everywhere we go, bridge of hope, bringing hope to all. And everything we do it to our best.
Bridge of hope. Bridge of hope, raising future for generation. Bridge of hope, building up the society. Bridge of hope, we are the light letting Kibera. Bridge of hope.
Watoto waliodhulumiwa, msikime kimya kimya. Na wale wadhulumu watoto, siku zenyu tumehesabu.
Bridge of hope. Watoto wote wa Kibera, Bridge of hope, sisi twawapenda. Watoto wote wa Afrika, Bridge of hope, twawatakia mema. Bridge of hope. Bridge of hope, creating future for generation. Bridge of hope, building up the society. Bridge of hope, we are the light letting Kibera. Bridge of hope. Bridge of hope, creating future for generation. Bridge of hope, building up the society. Bridge of hope, we are the light letting Kibera. Bridge of hope.
It started with porridge. So every lunch time we could have cooked only porridge and stay there with these children to listen to them, just talk to them. They just want someone to listen to them. They will tell you all the manner of their stories. Just listen. And from there is when we continued, and in 2006 we received our first grant from the local NGO from Finland.
And I and my siblings were one of the pupils in the school. So after some years, few years, when I was 6 years old, I had to undergo the circumcision process because in our culture we had to do so. So by that time I was a child, and the moment Agnes realized, she took me out of Kibera, whereby I was able to continue with my studies. Till now I'm with her. So the fact that I am now is because of her.
Creating future for generation. Bridge of hope, building up the society. Bridge of hope, we are the light letting Kibera. Bridge of hope. Bridge of hope, creating future for generation. Bridge of hope.
I came to Drug Fighters in 2007 when I was 9 years old. When I came, I was not able to express myself or to talk before pupils or others. It was so sympathized the way I was looking like, the problem that I was facing outside when I was staying with my parents. Agnes, she's a nice human, because she has led us in a good way to follow by providing us with dormitories, enough materials for revision, enough teachers and other staffs who are working in drug fighters like youths. At now, God has blessed us with social worker, everyone whom we feel free with her or him, so that we can go to express our problem and she or he can help us in a way that she can.
So, naitwa Ibrahim Hassan Rajab. Nilikuja hapa 2005. I met Madam Agnes. Alinitoa kwa slums, nilikuwa kijana wa slums. So, when nilikutana naye, tukaongea naye, nikamwambia nitakurudi shule. So, after hapo akanirudisha shule, nikaanza kupata education. After hapo tukaendelea tu na hiyo vizuri mpaka sasa hivi pale nimefika. Na bado ananisaidia na nashukuru Mungu, na yeye wanamwombea ili azidi kusaidia watu wengine au watoto wengine kama mimi. Because ni wengi walikuwa wanatafuta chance kama hii lakini hawezi pata. But I thank God mimi nimepata chance kama hii na naitumia vizuri. Na kwa wale ambao wenye wanamsupport ili kufundraise hao watoto wenye wako hapa, tunashukuru sana na tunarudisha shukrani kwa yale yote ambao wametufanyia.
So we started and we fed, the first day we fed 45 children. They shared very sad stories about what they go through and all this. And we continued. After 3 months, the woman called me and told me, these people are tired and you are going to be left alone. But because I can see the passion that you have in your heart, never close this thing. Never say that you can't. You will go up and down, maybe alone or with 3 people, but never get tired. And you know what? It was very sad because after that, the woman was a single mother and she had a problem with the answers. So after that, she died. And the day that she was dying, she told me I could make sure that her last daughter go up to Form 4. Remember, by that time, I couldn't afford even 20 bob to rescue a child from here to Nairobi Women. But I sat down. In short, we went through a lot because the first child we rescued by that time is 2000. And I took her to the children's department and they asked you, from the look of outside, where do you stay? And I said, I stay in Kibera. Do you own any plots in Kibera? And I said, no. And they laughed and told me, and you yourself, you are needy and you pretend like you are helping people. And the 3 women that I had, they felt so bad and they told me, we told you we can't do this.
With 5 members remaining by her side, did she receive any help from other people, for instance the government or any NGO or even an international organization?
We never received any kind direct support from government, but we do work with government. We work with chiefs. Nowadays, after a very strong fighting, we became friends and they really support us wherever we are doing campaigns and whatever. And even during rescue cases nowadays, they provide security. And we work also with the Office of the Children Department. Although I have appeals to appeal them, let them get down and work with the community direct. But we have partners. We have many friends and partners. As I said, our first partner was from Finnish Embassy, Finnish government, local NGO from Finland through the government of Finnish. We work direct with the Finnish Embassy, especially through the capacity building. And some materials down there, when you go down there, you will see things which are funded by the Finnish Embassy here in Kenya. We have churches and friends, individuals, Kenyans. Kenyans are so generous when they know that what you are doing is genuine. We have individual mothers who support individual children. Once a while, so others they can gather people and bring them to support.
Her passion has sparked the hearts of many who have been in contact with her. We sought to find out what keeps her going and where she draws her strength from.
It's when I see the life of children being changed. Our motto is restoring the lost hope of the young people. So when I see them being children, it keeps me going every day. Especially now when I see that boy, Ian. Ian was very sick when I caught him. A sickle cell anemia is a very dangerous thing, and I was very shocked when I found it. And on the other side, I couldn't know where to take him. I kept knocking doors, and no center wanted to take him. And secondly, I didn't want to separate her with her sister. So when I took her to the doctor and I found her, she's a sickle cell anemia, I decided not to give them, to bring them help. They are so wonderful. I wish you could have met them in my house. They are so wonderful. Although Sarah got a very bad burn late last year, she was been hospitalized for 2.5 months. But she's very strong. Just in the morning, she was telling me, I'm going for my report form, and I got 490 marks. And she was at home because she came from the hospital in December. So in January, she got what we call skin grafting. So she was still healing, and she forced me to take her to the school, and she promised that I won't be playing. I'll be seated there because she's not supposed to walk because of the grafting, but I have to go to school. And she went to school. She have set for her first exam on her first term, and she became number 3 with a marks of 490 something. What else do I want if that child is telling me that I can be what I want to be because of you? She wants to be a pilot. She knows how to write a letter. She can write I think I have some letters that they have written for some of the friends in my handbag. And so that keeps me going. There is nothing else. I don't need anything else. I want to see the life of children being changed.
We got a chance to go see the beautiful children that she had helped in the school she founded with the help of well-wishers. We get to know that the school was started because the children she rescued could not attend the normal schools in the area. This was due to the fact that they were not easily accepted by other students or teachers.
We call it our paradise. They say there's no electricity. Reach your form, in society. Reach your form.
Since the formation of the school, the children have learned how to deal with their problems, something that is attributed to the counseling sessions provided.
In 2001, May, we registered drug fighters had become a former CBO from the Ministry of Culture and Social Department. By that time, it is now Genders, Culture, Children's and Social Department. So from there is when we started the day-to-day activity. And as I said, God can make people whom people can't believe in you. So what I can say before I continue is like, there is nothing can hinder anyone to change this country.
Agnes clearly understands children, and she insists they need someone to listen to them, hence her decision to have the children cancelled.
I was holding a very bad grudge for my mother, and at the same time I was loving my mother like anything else. Because anything that I have ever done, I was doing to make sure that I help my mom to help my siblings. So the only grudge that I kept to my mom is not to ever get time to reason to me. Because up to today, I tell people, my mom doesn't know me. No. I am the breadwinner of my mother up to today, but she doesn't know me. Yeah, mothers should take time to listen to their daughters, especially when they are teenagers. Listen to them. Get to know why they are resisting to, I repeat again, to go to your friends. My life experience. You know, I never take that working as a humiliation or anything from my mom. But as I said, the worst thing that ever happened to my own life now, personal life, inside me it came from my mother's friend. And when I went back and told my mom, I will never want to go to so-and-so's, she told me again, you have to go back and take care of their children. That is like a family. It was, the lady was like a family to us. If your child tell you, I don't want to go back to so-and-so, please get deep to know. It is not easy for children to trust.
Agnes is a true definition of a pillar in her community, and clearly nothing will stand in her way or bring her down. She is more beautiful than a flower.
Watoto wote wa Kibera, Bridge of Hope, sisi twawapenda watoto wote.